Welcome into Forward Progress. It's our Thursday night football preview presented by Fanduel. I'm Rob Pizzola, joined by Fabian Sommer. Tonight, we're breaking down the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. These teams met in Week 5. It was one of the more interesting matchups of the year. Game went to overtime, 41-38 final. The Ravens win that one on the road. Tonight, we're seeing the Ravens as prohibitive favorites at home. 6.5 at FanDuel right now, mostly sixes across the board. This one minus 6.5 plus 102 at FanDuel. The total in the game is sitting in the 52.5, 53 range right now. Suma, break this one down for us. Bengals, Ravens. What do you think is going to happen here tonight?
Yeah, when you look at the profile of where and how these teams are successful, I think there's a pretty fascinating scheme in the sense that the Ravens are pretty good at everything on offense, passing the ball, running the ball. Even when you exclude Lamar Jackson once, they rank fifth in rushing success rate and second in EPA per play. And on defense, they are number one in rushing success rate against running back runs. The Bengals, on the other side, their defense 29th in rushing success rate, and their offense the same, 29th in rushing success rate. In the first matchup, the Bengals were not able to run the ball on the Ravens. It was basically all Joe Burrow through the air. And that brings me to my biggest question for this game. How much can the Bengals do through the air? Because I think this is what this game will come down to. BJ Hill, he was DNP, LP. Their run defense was bad to begin with when those guys were on the interior defensive line were out early in the season. It was even worse, and BJ Hill might be a major loss for this defense. Don't know if he's going to play, but this defense, I just don't see where they have the horses to really match up against this Ravens offense, which is an absolute machine. They can stop the run. I don't think that they will be able to stop the pass. This is basically can the Ravens play a clean game on offense, and then how much can this Bengals offense play catch up? Because I doubt that they will A, be able to run the ball, and B, that they will be in a game script throughout this game where they could actually lean on running the football. So how good will Joe Burrow be through the air without T. Higgins in this one?
Yeah, and Orlando Brown in all likelihood as well, or possibility there as well. So that's what fascinates me about this matchup. I remember I bet the Bengals in the first matchup this year against the Ravens. I felt a little hard done by in that game. The Bengals had several double-digit leads in the second half. They moved the ball through the air at will before Joe Burrow turned it over late in the game, and then the Ravens stored back. I think the path to success for Cincinnati is kind of the same way today, just because they haven't proven a consistent running game. Even with the loss of Michael Pierce for the Ravens last week, they still held up very well in run defense against the Denver Broncos. And I think it's just another one of those games where if the Bengals are going to win, Burrow is going to have to do a lot of it himself, utilize maybe some more two tight end sets like they did last week, even though Eric All got injured, and, hit as many different receivers as possible. But this is a Ravens juggernaut right now. So it's incredibly challenging to bet against them. Slight lean for me on the Bengals in this game. Full disclosure, I did not bet Cincinnati. Probably won't unless we get some sort of great injury news. Maybe BJ Hill playing in the game, Orlando Brown, but those seem unlikely at this point. Suma, from a props perspective, just listening to you talk and my own personal read on the game, I look at Joe Burrow completions at 23.5. And it's juiced towards the over, minus 128 at the time of recording right now. But to me, I think that there are not very many scenarios where Burrow is not throwing the ball like 40 times in this game. I like the completions for Joe Burrow over in this one. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yes, completions, and I also like pass attempts in general. I think the only way where they stay a significant amount below that would be if they got a super great game script where the Ravens have a couple turnovers, something happens during the game where they can build a lead and then maybe try to run the ball. But even then, at some point, there will be the Ravens defense, which is too strong against the run.
Yeah, there's potential to. I mean, looking at the first matchup, Burrow went 30 of 39 for 392 yards, 5 touchdowns, and an INT. There's also the potential where the Ravens just run the ball down the Bengals' throat, and it creates a scenario where there's just not enough offensive plays for the Bengals over the course of the game. That's within the realm of possibility. It's possible Keaton Mitchell, who was activated from the PUP list, could be back tonight as well and playing in this game. So there's lots of things that could potentially change the outcome of the game and how we view it. Personally, as well, one thing to keep note of: Eric All got injured last week for the Cincinnati Bengals, tore his ACL, out for the year. I was very interested in looking at the tight end splits last week, Suma, and specifically the snap counts. You look at Drew Sample, played 56 snaps last week. That was 76% of all snaps for the Bengals. Gesicki, 36%. Tanner Hudson, 27%. Tanner Hudson got 2 targets in the red zone. Am I nuts to want to bet Tanner Hudson anytime touchdown scorer tonight?
Why not? Let's have some fun. Also, Tanner Hudson first touchdown is 43-1 at Fanduel.
Yeah, 9-1 anytime, 43-1 first touchdown. I think there's a decent likelihood he's on the field and at least get some red zone looks today. So that's certainly one that I want to play. From a props perspective, Suma, any player catch your eye? Anything that you're looking at here?
Not really, to be honest. This was a very tough game. Also, to build some fun SGPs. To be honest, one of the tougher games to build some SGPs, also based on like tail outcomes. Lot of chalk in this one, even if you try to build some SGPs with the Bengals, who are 6-point underdogs.
Yes, we will get into those in just 1 second here. But I do want to remind you, football is in full swing. There's no better place to get in on the NFL action than Fanduel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Just place any $5 bet, you'll get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. You can use your bets on spreads, props, live bets, over-unders, and so much more. We personally love using Fanduel on Forward Progress. It's a very good product, tons of betting options, very fair prices, especially in these any touchdown scorer markets where you're going to find them having the best price in market way more often than not. So visit fanduel.com/forward progress. Download America's #1 sportsbook. That's fanduel.com/forward progress. You must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC. First online real wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Suma mentioned it was tough to come up with an SGP for tonight's game, but I'm interested. What were you cooking up in that German stew? You know, a little bit of sausage, some potatoes, some onions. What do you got going on for the SGP tonight?
Yeah, some Jamar Chase sprinkled in. I'm just thinking that if the Bengals hang in this game, if they make it a high-scoring game, it will be through the air. So I'm going with Bengals alternate spread -2.5. Joe Burrow 300 plus receiving yards. Joe Burrow 3+ passing touchdowns, and Jamar Chase 125 plus receiving yards at 22-1. The Ravens give up a ton of explosive passing plays. And I'm not sure whether they'll be able to quadruple cover Jamar Chase in this game. So I think there will be opportunities, and also that the Bengals offense will force those opportunities to Jamar Chase down the field.
Interesting. I'm looking at a weird one here, because I think a lot of people will look at this and be like, well, this is really counterintuitive what Rob's going to do. But I think that there is a potential game script to the Ravens running for 250 plus yards in this game. I'm not exaggerating. I think there's a chance where you see a lot of read option with Lamar Jackson. You have Derrick Henry, which obviously is a threat for 100 yards in any given game. You have Justice Hill. You could potentially have Keaton Mitchell tonight. I think the Ravens can pound the rock in this scenario. I'm going to go over 59.5 alternate points. So I still view this as a likely high-scoring game. Both teams potentially getting into the 30s, but 60-plus points basically here. Joe Burrow, 300-plus yards. I think that's a given in a scenario where you get a really high-scoring game. Derrick Henry, 100-plus rushing yards. That's his alternate rushing yards, which, again, I'm going with the rushing game script. But then what's really going to boost the price for us on this SGP is we're now going to take Lamar Jackson under on his passing yards at 232.5. So we're going all these overlooks, alternate overlooks, and then Lamar Jackson under on his passing yards. My theory, he's a little bit more involved with the legs today, and they're running the ball a lot more. That's going to pay in the 22-1, 23-1 range for an SGP. Look, if you do decide to tail, make sure you're using your profit boost tokens on FanDuel, whether it's my SGP, Suma SGP, or you're just making your own. That creates some value as well. As a reminder, we're live here on Forward Progress tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time, leading up to the game. I will have all the final injury reports, give out all my last-minute props, and we'll look to bet in-game as well over the course of the night. So tune in, Forward Progress tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Thanks for watching our Thursday Night Football preview. Good luck with your bets.